Back in 2009, Runic Games released a game that would go on to define a certain era of dungeon crawlers. Torchlight was originally a PC title, later ported to the Xbox 360 via Xbox Live Arcade, giving console players a chance to experience its fast-paced, loot-driven gameplay. Fast forward to 2026, and the landscape of action RPGs has evolved dramatically. Newer consoles, online multiplayer, and deep customization options dominate the genre, yet here we are asking the question, does Torchlight on Xbox 360 still hold up, and is it worth playing today? The answer might surprise you. First, let's talk about what Torchlight actually is. At its core, it's a hack and slash dungeon crawler with RPG elements. You choose one of three classes, a melee-focused destroyer, a ranged specialist, or spellcaster, and dive into procedurally generated dungeons filled with monsters, traps, and treasure. The game's combat is straightforward but deeply satisfying. Every swing of a sword, blast of a spell, or arrow fired feels weighty, and there's an addictive rhythm to exploring, defeating enemies, and hoarding loot. One feature that still stands out in 2026 is the companion pet system. Your pet can carry extra inventory, sell items while you remain in the dungeon, and even assist in combat. For a console game of its era, this was a clever way to streamline the gameplay and keep you focused on what really matters: fighting monsters and collecting gear. The character progression system is equally satisfying. Leveling up feels meaningful, skill trees are simple yet allow for unique builds, and the randomized dungeons ensure that no two runs are ever quite the same. Even now, this formula provides the kind of pick up and play satisfaction that modern ARPGs sometimes overcomplicate. One of the reasons Torchlight remains worth playing in 2026 is how well it balances accessibility with depth. Combat is easy to grasp, but there's a natural hook that keeps you wanting to explore one more dungeon or open one more chest. Loot is everywhere, and it's genuinely exciting to discover rare weapons or powerful equipment that changes the way you approach combat. The game's art style has aged surprisingly well. Unlike some titles that feel dated or washed out, Torchlight's vibrant, colorful world still pops on a 360 screen, and the animations remain fluid and satisfying. This aesthetic choice contributes to a sense of fun and adventure that newer, more realistic ARPGs sometimes lack. There's also a purity to the game that's hard to ignore. Without online multiplayer, microtransactions, or expansions cluttering the experience, you get exactly what the game promises: a single player dungeon crawler with addictive combat, loot, and exploration. For many players, that simplicity is exactly what makes it appealing years later. That said, it's important to acknowledge the limitations, particularly when viewing Torchlight through the lens of 2026 gaming. Multiplayer is absent on the Xbox 360 version, which means you won't be able to team up with friends or experience the cooperative play that has become standard in modern ARPGs. Mod support is another missing feature. PC players have enjoyed years of fan made content that adds replayability and depth, but the console version is locked into its original experience. Additionally, while the game's mechanics are solid, they don't quite match the complexity or customization options found in newer titles. Skill trees are functional but limited, and character builds are comparatively straightforward. If you're someone who craves extensive customization, competitive multiplayer, or a constantly evolving game world, Torchlight may feel a bit constrained by today's standards. That said, these limitations do not erase the core enjoyment the game provides, especially for players who value a focused, satisfying single player experience. So, who is Torchlight for in 2026? The game is perfect for anyone who loves old school hack and slash gameplay, loot hunting, and dungeon exploration. It's ideal for console players who may not have had access to the PC version or who want a classic ARPG experience on the Xbox 360. It's also a great choice for gamers looking for a nostalgic trip back to the early 2010s when action RPGs emphasized fun, pacing, and exploration over grind heavy mechanics or online features. If you fit any of these categories, the game is absolutely still worth your time. On the other hand, if you're primarily drawn to modern ARPGs with rich multiplayer features, deep build systems, or the latest visual effects, you might find the Xbox 360 version of Torchlight a bit basic. But even then, the game's core design, simple engaging combat, vibrant art, and rewarding loot machines still has a timeless appeal that many gamers will enjoy. In conclusion, yes, Torchlight on Xbox 360 is worth playing in 2026. It remains a polished, enjoyable experience that captures the essence of classic dungeon crawlers. It's a game that rewards exploration, offers satisfying combat, and scratches that loot hunting itch better than many modern titles that overcomplicate their systems. If you're revisiting it or discovering it for the first time, it still has charm, depth, and replayability that stand up even against today's competition. And while it may not have multiplayer or mods, it doesn't need them to deliver a solid, fun gaming experience. Torchlight reminds us that sometimes simpler is better. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss any of my future uploads. For even more in-depth gaming content, head over to my Patreon, where my latest exclusive video dives into 10 underrated classics you should replay, a perfect companion to games like Torchlight. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, game on.